Hey everyone, we're TowawayCouple. I'm Tom, the driver.
And I'm Bunny, and I'm the holder of the wallet.
The keeper of the wallet?
Yes.
I don't get to carry my wallet unless I'm actually driving alone.
Right, exactly.
And when I get out to get fuel, she gives me my wallet. I get my fuel. I hand her back my wallet. Like a good husband.
Like a good husband. I've trained you well.
You have. So, we get asked a lot, how do you get paid doing RV transport? Now, there are a bunch of ways that transport companies pay their drivers. We're going to tell you the way we've been paid. It doesn't necessarily mean the way you will get paid with the company you lease on with or hire on with, because they may pay differently.
Right. We've been leased on by bigger companies, so they do things different than the smaller ones.
Right. So the first thing you're given when you lease onto one of the bigger companies is either a com data card or an EFS / what are they called? WEX cards?
Yeah.
But they still say EFS on them.
Correct.
Those are your two typical cards. And they're basically like prepaid credit cards. They could put money on it, but they could take money off of them. You can put it down into your bank account. You can use them as credit cards, and you can use them to get discounts at fuel stations.
Yeah.
And you can watch our diesel discounts videos, and we explain how to use the card, because a lot of people go to the front of the pumps instead of where the diesels go. So check that out.
Very important. Very important.
Very
to go to the
important.
back of the pumps and the right station.
So how do you get paid? Well, when you first pick up the load, when they dispatch you, and it depends on the company, some pay on certain hours, like 3 times a day, like our current company and our first company. Other ones, the second you're dispatched, you get 50% on your card immediately. So if you're on one of the companies that pay every 10, 2, and 4, you may want to make sure you leave enough on your card to fill up, so that way when they put money on the card at those hours, and it's not right on the hour, give them an hour after that, but make sure you leave enough money on the card, so that way you can get fuel
Right.
when you pull out.
Some companies don't pay right up front when you dispatch. You've got to call and let them know that you're leaving with the unit, and then you get advanced at that point.
Correct. But you should get some form of an advance. Now, some companies will do a certain amount, like up to $1,000. Now, fuel price is high today. They will advance you more. You just got to call and say, hey, I'm going to California. It's going to be more than $1,000 to get there. So,
unfortunately, at this time, yes, it is.
and you want to think in advance on that, because they can't advance you any money if they're closed for the day. So you got to do all your budgeting and fuel stops and everything, and know approximately what it's going to take, and then talk to your company.
There are a lot of the companies advance 50% of your pay up front.
Correct. So that's my current company, and my last company was 50% up front. So that 50% should be more than enough to fuel your truck all the way there and all the way back in most situations.
Right, and any permits that you need to buy or purchase along the way.
Right, and permits and tolls and stuff. So that should pretty much cover you. It may not. So at this, again, we're going to talk high fuel prices right now. Have extra. Then when you get your remaining balance, then you should be able to cover any additional cost, if there are any.
One of the things that we do find is if you...
She cut me off.
I did. If you get a short run the first time, your 50% may not cover if you need to fill that tank full.
Exactly. So, like, yeah, short run, if it's $300, you get $150 up front, and then you get the $150 when you deliver the units. Then that still may not fill your tank. So that's why I'm saying have money to put money in your fuel. And unfortunately, if you use all the money that's on your ComData or EFS card, you won't get the diesel discounts.
No, you have to use that card in order to
That
get your
very
discount.
specific card. The way it works then is when you deliver your unit, then once you submit all your paperwork, and they'll tell you how to submit it, it's really easy. Once you submit the paperwork, then again, some companies are, as they come in, you get paid. So say if they got 100 people submitting their paperwork, it's as it goes. So it might take 15 minutes, it might take 6 hours to get paid. And they're going to pay you. So a lot of people jump on Facebook saying, I didn't get paid. Relax.
Yeah, especially if it's a Monday morning.
Right. Don't put your company on blast.
They've got to get everybody that submitted their paperwork through the weekend also.
Correct. And the ones that are 10 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, they usually pay out by 11, 3, and 5, typically. And I know sometimes it's even 5:30 and stuff like that. We don't want to give you very specific things. And then if it's COD, unfortunately, you're not going to get paid out until they get that check from the dealership. So either if you're going to deliver to a dealership and go home, you can mail the check, you can priority mail it with signature required, you can overnight it. All that is out of your pocket. They do not reimburse for none of that. Or if you're going to come back to pick up another load, most companies are not going to reimburse you until you hand the payroll that check, or they get that check in their hands. Then immediately you're paid back. Why? Why do you ask? Oh, man, I'm scratching my leg. Why do you ask? Why can't they reimburse you? You're going to bring the check back. How do they know? How do they know you don't lose that check? How do they know it doesn't take you 2 weeks to get back to Indiana? There are a lot of reasons. One company used to reimburse us. We'd take a picture of the check to show we had the check in hand. They would reimburse us. I'm going to guess a few drivers screwed that up for us because they started requiring that check within like 3 to 5 days of you delivering. Meaning, if you were going to take 7 days to get back, you needed to overnight or mail that check out of your expense. So they had it. And that was just their policy.
Mm-hmm. But we always keep enough on ours that we can always make it back and pick up another load also.
As well as for food, hotels, and possibly to start repairs if we don't have enough. But we do try to keep enough for repairs on there.
And like we said, you can use it as a credit card. Unfortunately, you can't get cash advances on it a lot until you get a card with your name on it. So if your company only, it's going to say contractor on it. Unfortunately, like I said, we tried to get cash advances. I even tried to get cash advance at my own bank, and I could not do it as long as it said contractor. A lot of your companies will do a bulk run like every 6 months and put people's names on it. But if you're having an issue, definitely call your payroll company and have them put your name on it. I'm sure they can reorder them for you.
Yeah, specifically for you if you're trying to do something specific that requires your name on the card. Another thing that on the downloading it to your bank account, you can download it, you can download all your money. That's where we see a lot of people have problems. They get the money and they download it all to the bank account because they need the money to pay bills. But then when they need to put fuel in their truck, they don't get the discounts because they downloaded all their money. So I would always suggest keep a minimum of $1,000 or more on your card because an average fill-up could be $350, $450, $500 per fill-up. And if you have to fill up twice and you have $1,000 on there, you just basically depleted that whole card.
Mm-hmm. So there goes your. And the other day we got $1.06 savings.
Yes. So it was definitely huge. Worth it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so now when you're given the cards, we found a couple of things. It depends on the company. The company will say that it's ComData. ComData will say it's the company. We don't know who, and I don't want to say is at fault or who runs the deal, but like our ComData on our app and on our book said it could take up to 15 days.
It was 10 working days.
So 2 weeks, because you can't count Saturday and Sunday.
And it was 14 days.
To the day we started the process, and we needed money. So we were going to the fuel pumps and hitting $200 advances, because if you filled up so many gallons of fuel, you can do it in advance for no fee from Pilot, but there still were fees from the ComData. So for us to draw out $900, I think it was, cost us like $24 or $36 in ComData fees for the advances. I think it was $6 per advance.
I think it was.
But so that kind of sucked. And had we been able to download it to the bank account, it wouldn't have cost us. Well, it cost us $1.
It depends on what company. Some it's $1, some it's $5.
That was ComData.
What my
EFS is free, right?
EFS, I believe it's free.
I believe free.
But I think it also depends on your bank.
It could be that too.
So, but no, definitely, it's very important. Like Tom said, as soon as you get that card, link it to your bank account. That way, you have access to it.
Now we just did it with the EFS because we have both ComData and EFS. And what our EFS take, about 3 days?
Yeah, only because it was over the weekend.
Over the weekend, but it was really, really fast. So
we did it on Friday. I checked it on Monday to see what I had in there, and it gave us 2 deposits.
Two small deposits, like 36 cents and 18 cents.
And it was specific which one was first.
And you had to put it in the app, the first deposit and the second, even though they were made the same day. Mm-hmm. You had to know what one was put in your bank account first. What if the bank switched them up?
Well, then
what if they didn't go in order?
They would have redid it.
That would have
taken another day. So
sucked.
Immediately upon putting in those 2 totals, it said, okay, you're set up.
Yep, so we could transfer money down to our bank account. How long does it take to transfer money down to your bank account? That is another big question we get asked a lot. Typically the next morning.
Yeah.
If you deposit by, 6 o'clock, 5, let's just be safe, 5 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah, I would do Eastern time just because of the fact that we're pretty much all running on Eastern time.
Right. So if you deposit, say, by 5 o'clock Eastern, and if you're getting any advances, you would have gotten those before 5 o'clock anyways. We've had the money in our account as early as 2 in the morning.
Right. And it also is another thing that depends on your bank. When we first started with ComData, it says up to 5 business days. And when we first...
You're talking to them, not me.
I'm like questioning myself. When we first started, it did take 5 days, the first initial draw. And then it went from there and it went from there. Now it's instantaneously within 24 hours. Unless it's the weekend.
But we've never tested a theory of how late is too late. And now with the new EFS and our new company, we don't have any charges for the first 9 uses. So I am going to run a test on the next dispatch. I am going to transfer $2 at 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and see how many go into the bank the next morning.
The latest I've done was 7 p.m.
Right. But I want to go all the way up till almost midnight.
Yeah. I'll
even do 11:50 just to see.
I've done 7 p.m., but only the fact that our bank routing number is California, so it's West Coast.
Okay. So our bank is West Coast, so they're open a couple hours later, but earlier. But I would assume it's transferring. So yeah, when I do that, and we'll do a video on what was the latest. And then later on, if it's between 9 and 11, we'll try to narrow it down to 10 o'clock. I don't know.
But now, downloading on a Friday could be hit or miss on if you're going to get it on Saturday or Monday.
Correct.
So definitely, if you need money in your bank by the weekend and it's Friday, do it as early as possible.
And it's still hit or miss, only because of the weekend.
Yep.
It's all computerized, and yet it's still... It's almost like human people have to go, approved, I'm going home.
You're definitely not going to get it advanced to your account if you do it on Saturday and get it on Sunday. No, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to wait till Monday on that one.
Yep. So, a lot of people ask, how do you get paid doing RV transport? And how do you get your money? How do you use your money? This is just a basic, simple video.
Now, I will have to admit, though, you can't just get it and use it as a credit card to pay all of your bills. Because the fact that it is a credit card, you cannot make credit card payments. You cannot, both of our truck payments are with a bank. I cannot use that card to make a truck payment. I have to download it to my bank and then pay the bank.
Okay, so you got to do a bank transfer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right,
so,
debit.
Yes, so yeah, you cannot use a credit card to make a credit card payment.
Right, unless the credit card company is unscrupulous and don't care. No, I'm just kidding. So anyways, we just want to throw out a quick video. This is how we get paid. Other companies pay by check. Some companies pay every 2 weeks. So that would be a great question to ask your company that you're leasing on with is, how do I get paid? Because in this industry, getting paid the sooner is better because you got repairs, maintenance, fuel, and all your home, your house, mortgage, car payments, utilities, everything under the sun. Well,
we went in the other day and we thought we only needed 2 tires and we needed 6.
Exactly. So instead of $500, we got a better deal, $1,400.
Yep.
So, all right. So until next time, if you have any questions on this, definitely post them on our YouTube here, and we do reply pretty quickly on YouTube. If we don't reply quickly, it's because we're looking for an answer. And follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. We post just stupid pictures of us and where we're at and different things.
All our travels, yes.
All of our travels. So until next time.
We'll see you down the road.
We'll see you down the road.